So having built my first game demo and almost full game with AI, I figured now is a good time to make a video on if it's better to use and learn code to make video games or whether it's better to use AI. Now, I'm going to be biased in saying that I used to try and learn code through, tutorials and such, and I did that for maybe 2 to 3 weeks. However, I found that that just wasn't the thing for me, and it just felt way too long, and obviously there's quite a big learning curve as expected from putting in loads of time to code. Now, what I ended up doing sort of mid June this year of 2025 is I ended up going down using the AI route where I use AI to make the code, images, and videos and such for the game. Now, I still had to figure out Unity and I still had to put things together and I had to figure out, errors and give effectively AI all of the errors and all of the scripts in order to basically get it doing the things that I wanted it to do. And what I found is that AI, undoubtedly, in my opinion, is the better path forward for a lot of people that are curious about getting into game development. Because for me, at least, it cut down about 60 to 70% of the time I would have spent making a video game. Because for reference, it took me about 300 hours or just under 300 hours to make my first game demo. And I believe I'm at 420 hours at the time of recording. And at this sort of route, I should be able to get my first game out in just 500 hours. Now, this game is not just necessarily, your typical pixel game or platformer, but it's more of a sort of story rich and a turn-based strategy game, if you will. So again, I'd search up, for example, how long it would often take other developers to make these type of games, and often what I was finding is that it would be taking more than 1,000 hours and higher. And again, I think this obviously makes sense because obviously you need to learn a lot of code and there's a lot of stuff that needs to be put in there. Now, what I will say is, first of all, I do have a ton of respect for developers that spend hours and hours putting time into learning their craft and making those games. However, I believe what matters to a lot of us players who play these games is the game good? Is it enjoyable? Does it challenge me or whatever the type of game you want to play? And so, as me as a developer, or I guess using AI to help develop the games, I want to focus on just right, can I make the game that I want to make? And I think a lot of with what's good about AI is that, yeah, sure, it can do all the stuff for you, but the only caveat to it is that AI is only good at the context you can give it. What I will say as well is that, hey, look, if you're going to go down the learning the code route, at least a lot of the time, I'd imagine when you start looking at code, generally speaking, what it does, right? You know what it does. You probably know how to change up. For me speaking, I don't really know what most of the code does. As I see more and more code, I can maybe get a general idea, but there's no way I can go about editing it and figuring that out. So that is the big, problem that I do have. And I know I've spoken to a few people who have suggested that I learn to code first. But having actually been on this journey, I think a lot of it is just having a bit more patience, a bit more patient and a bit more patient with AI as well. Because, for example, if I run into errors, I need to give the errors and the relevant scripts to AI to basically figure out what it is, as opposed to being able to look at it and then know what it is or have a better idea as to what it is compared to a lot of other developers. So what I'll say is this. First of all, I think that just AI is my preferred route, and I think could actually be a really viable route for a lot of other people that are looking to get into game development but don't want to have to learn loads and loads of code. And at the rate that I'm sort of going at, I should be able to get this first game out, or at least the time frame that I've been spending has probably been about 5 to 6 months. So my goal really for 2026 and the years onwards is that I'm making at least one new video game a year. Ideally, if I could do two a year, that'd be awesome, but at least one new video game a year, which for a lot of solo developers that are learning code and typing code out themselves is going to be very difficult to do. Now, again, the other question is then, well, are the games any good, right? Because of course, there are games that I've seen and played that, developers spent 5, 6, 7 years to get out and obviously were very good games. And my main focus is also making sure the games that I'm making are games that I would actually play. Because that way, when I play them, if I genuinely think that it's actually pretty good, then I'm going to have more confidence that that is going to be good for me to play and that other people will enjoy it. And also, I think part of it, at least with AI, is that I'm able to focus on just keeping my creativity or focusing my energy on just the creativity aspect as opposed to the more complicated aspects with the code. And even when making images, for example, or even videos for the game and the game trailer, I can focus on just what I want to be in there, and AI can focus on making that, right? I'm not having to draw any images or such. But let me know your thoughts on this and what you would prefer, or if you would actually get into making video games with AI. I'm more than happy to do more videos on it, but let me know your thoughts and I'll catch you soon.